One thing I wish I had started doing a long time ago, right from the beginning, like 10 years ago when I got started with business and self-development and all that stuff, is building my own knowledge database, which means recording, storing, and categorizing all the things that I learned. Whether they are things that I learned from my personal experiences, my thoughts, or maybe other people's thoughts that I consider valuable, and things that I learned in books, videos, courses, whatever. Think about Leonardo da Vinci, for example, all the notebooks he had and all the things that he did, he learned and researched. Here, for example, is another photo that I found of one of his notebooks. And so many other guys like Benjamin Franklin, then others like Newton, then we have Darwin, Beethoven, Hemingway, and so many more. And there's a reason why so many of them did this. And this is something that Jim Rohn, who's someone that I personally really like, he also talked a lot about the importance of writing it all down and even capturing it all, even with photos. Because here's the thing, it is true what Ralph Waldo Emerson said of, I cannot remember the books I've read any more than the meals I have eaten, even so they have made me. Which basically means that even though you may not be writing it all down and remembering everything that you consume, even then it's still a part of your mind somewhere because you were exposed to all this knowledge and it made you. So you're somewhat retaining and using that knowledge, maybe at a subconscious level. But that doesn't mean there isn't any value in capturing and materializing your knowledge. Quite the opposite, in fact. There are two big benefits of doing so. The first one is that putting on words all the things you learn, all your thoughts and all your ideas, it forces you to think things through, to sit down and make your thoughts cohesive. Because actually when you're just thinking about something, it's very easy to have gaps in logic and incomplete thought chains. And you skip things and you assume that two ideas are connected when in reality they're not. But when you force yourself to put all of these ideas into words, you can easily spot those gaps in logic. What is missing? What is incomplete? What doesn't make sense? What do we need to make this thing work? And how all of these interconnects with other ideas that maybe we already have. And this whole process of working on your ideas and writing them down is the same as if you were explaining these to someone. And as Richard Feynman said, the best way to learn is to actually teach. And what's interesting is that in a way, when you do this, you're actually explaining this to someone, and that someone is your future you. Which brings me to benefit number 2 of writing down all the things that you learn, which is to eventually in the future come back to your ideas and gain a deeper understanding of it all. This happens for 2 reasons. The first one is because you will be more knowledgeable and you will see things that you didn't see before, and realizing what is it that you didn't see before will make you wiser because it will allow you to understand why you were ignorant in the past. And then the second one is because repetition is a key element of learning. That's why Charlie Munger in his book Poor Charlie's Almanac talks about something that he calls the use it or lose it bias. I actually have the book right here with me. So basically what he means is that if you don't use your knowledge or skills for a long time, you will eventually lose them. Now, I don't know if I would categorize these as a bias, probably not, but you get the point. And this is something that I've noticed in myself. I'm a very curious guy and I love to explore ideas, and I always have multiple ongoing conversations with my friends on many different topics in which we're trying to figure something out, and we're constantly debating and working on one topic or idea for days or weeks, poking at it in many different ways, developing it, and eventually we reach some conclusion. Okay, this is a light bulb, even if it doesn't look like it. And some of the videos on my channel have come out of those conversations. But the thing that I realized many years ago is that since we never wrote down those lessons, those ideas, those things that we discovered, sometimes we would forget. And 1 or 2 years later, some topic that we had already covered would come up, but we had completely forgotten about what the conclusion of it was. So put your ideas down, don't let them disappear into the ether. And then in the future, you can keep coming back to your nodes and learn again and again and again and again. And you can refine those ideas too. You can improve upon the knowledge that you had already built. You can keep working on it, change things, and add on it. That's the ideal case scenario. And something that Jim Rohn mentioned that I think is absolutely beautiful, and he's completely right, is that eventually in the future you can pass it all down to your kids. All these notebooks and all these things that you save that are very valuable. And here's the thing, not just the notebooks or the knowledge database, but even your books, your normal books. Even if it's just like a library of great books that you've read throughout your entire life, that is something extremely valuable and beautiful to pass on to your kids. I always love to go through my grandfather's library. There's something magical to it. And a friend of mine who currently met with one of Spain's most successful businessmen showed him the library that he was building for his daughters with all the books that he considered to be important, and that's such a beautiful thing to do. So put it all down, store your knowledge somewhere. This is something that I only started to take more seriously later in life. For sure, I did do it a little bit in the beginning, but not as much as I should. But the good thing is that you can just start today, okay? Better late than never. So whenever you encounter something valuable from a video, from a book, from a course, from a conversation that you have with someone, from a thought that you have, write it down. Now, I could tell you what system I use, but I think it is way better and way more valuable for you if you develop your own unique system that works for you. It is way better if you figure out on your own how to classify and organize all of these ideas. Don't take any system from anyone, okay? Each brain is completely unique, it's very different, so you're gonna need a unique system that works for you, that's adapted to your brain and how you think, in the unique way that you structure your ideas. So sit down and really put effort into making one that you like. Because what a lot of people don't realize is that going through the process of developing your own system is extremely valuable. And if you take someone else's system, I would say you're almost losing half of the benefits you would get out of it. The only recommendation I'll make though is to keep it somewhat simple. Build a system with close to zero friction, meaning that if you overcomplicate it, you're not gonna use it because it's even gonna be too much work to add things to it. That's why I say like there has to be zero friction to it. So make it simple enough so that when you wanna add something to your knowledge database or whatever you wanna call it, I'm just calling it knowledge database because it kind of sounds interesting, but just like make it simple enough so that when you want to add something, it's just like immediate, very easy. Now, before I close this video, I just want to mention that if you like my videos, click on the subscribe button and turn on the notifications for when I upload, because I'm starting to realize how inconsistent YouTube can be when it's trying to show my videos. Sometimes I can get 2 videos that have the exact same metrics and more things, okay, not just the CTR, but the average view duration and watch time, all these things. But then YouTube will decide to really push one of them, but just forget about the other one. So you're basically gonna miss on like 50% of my videos. So if you like the content so far, just turn on the notifications and you're not gonna miss any future video, okay? So that's it for this one. I'll see you very soon. Take care. Have a great life. Peace.